3 player props on PrizePicks. You're not going to want to miss them. I have an MLB pick, a college football pick, and an NFL prop. They're all very sharp, very good bets, so hopefully you're able to tail this. Now, if you're new to the OddsJam, kind of YouTube PrizePicks videos, is I try to explain to you as well, just because it's so important, how does this platform work, right? How can you actually make money off PrizePicks long term? A lot of people, in their PrizePicks videos, it's just, oh, Daniel Jones is definitely going over. He looked great in practice. That's not how we operate at OddsJam, right? We want to explain to you exactly how these platforms work, exactly how the math works, and try to give you data-driven picks. So what you can see, on PrizePicks is what you'll notice is any 2-pick power play, you're getting 20 to win 60, right? It doesn't matter if you take overs, unders, doesn't matter what 2 picks you select, you're always getting 20 to win 60. So what this tells you is PrizePicks does not vary payouts depending on if you select the over or the under, or what 2 picks you select. So essentially, all player props in a 2-pick entry have the same price or the same implied odds. And we've done this in other videos, so I won't, dwell on it too much. But we have a full video, in the end screen, kind of breaking down PrizePicks strategy, the math behind PrizePicks. But essentially, because any 2-pick entry on PrizePicks is giving you plus 200 odds, the implied price on PrizePicks, right, for any player prop in a 2-pick entry is minus 137 juice. So for example, if we're looking at this college football game, NC State, Texas Tech, Devin Leary, the implied price for a PrizePicks 2-pick power play is going to be minus 137 on the over and the under, which is, over double what the juice is on DraftKings, right? This is why PrizePicks, you got to be careful, because a lot of times they're charging a lot more juice than the sportsbooks are, okay? So that's really important to consider. But what you will notice is PrizePicks doesn't vary, right? They're not varying your payout depending on if you select the over or the under, whereas sportsbooks typically do that, right? Which is why you're able to exploit PrizePicks and find some really good betting opportunities. So the tool I'm going to be using to find some awesome picks on PrizePicks is the OddsJam Middle Betting Tool. So what this tool shows you is just essentially where sportsbooks have the lines set at different levels. So their lines set at different levels. So you can imagine maybe on one sportsbook, the over-under for player receptions is 6.5 receptions. On another sportsbook, it's 7.5. So you could bet over 6.5 on one sportsbook, under 7.5 on another sportsbook, and you could win both your over and your under if there's exactly 7 receptions, because the sportsbooks are setting the line for that player prop at different levels, right? So what we'll notice is this first one is Joe Flacco under 229.5 passing yards. So if we go ahead and we click into the odds, what you'll notice is, hey, the sportsbooks, Caesars has this line at 222.5, juice towards the under. Pinnacle Sportsbook, which is the sharpest bookmaker in the world, they're juicing the under at minus 175 for under 228.5 player passing yards. We're able to get under 229.5 at the implied price of minus 137 in a 2-pick entry, or minus 128 in a 4-pick entry, minus 141 in a 3-pick entry, and in a 5-pick flex, it's a little more complicated, but roughly minus 119. 5-pick flexes are a bit more complicated just based on how payouts for flex plays work. But regardless, what you'll notice is wow, being able to get this minus 175, minus 137 for the under 229.5 when the sharpest bookmaker has the under 228.5 heavily juiced to minus 175, that seems pretty good, right? If Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, they're heavily juicing the under 228.5, then obviously being able to get under 229.5 at minus 137 implied odds seems pretty good, right? So clearly this is a pretty big line discrepancy, because PrizePicks, we're getting better odds and we're getting, a higher number. So we're able to get the under at a better number and a higher line, right? So another way you can think about it is if Flacco has exactly 229 passing yards, we'll cash our under on PrizePicks. We're losing on Caesars, we're losing on Pinnacle, we're losing on DraftKings, and we're getting better odds on PrizePicks, as you can see right here with this minus 137, than DraftKings and Pinnacle in the first place for their line at 228.5. So this is a pretty big line discrepancy. I really like it. Joe Flacco under 229.5 passing yards. And again, it's just on the middle tool, because what this tool shows you is where are sportsbooks setting their lines in the first place at different levels. Like sometimes you'll see in the NBA, LeBron over 26 points, LeBron under 28 points. You can hit both. LeBron has exactly 27 points. You cash both bets, right? So that's the first one I ended up going in on. Really like that play. The second pick I have, this one's probably the best one, actually, is in the Mets-Pirates game. So we can click over to this game. This is our MLB play. And it's Walker over 15.5 player outs, right? Once again, you'll be, this looks incredible. Sportsbooks have the line at 16.5, and Underdog Fantasy has the line at 17.5. We're able to get over 15.5. So if Walker has exactly 16 outs, we're cashing on PrizePicks. Everyone else in the market is losing. And you'll also notice Pinnacle and Caesars and DraftKings, so 3 sportsbooks, which are more efficient betting markets than PrizePicks, they take a higher volume of action, they all have the over 16.5 player outs favored, right? It's juiced on Caesars to minus 178 for over 16.5, and we can get minus 119 in a 5-pick flex play or minus 137 in a 2-pick power play. Incredible value, right? Definitely a play we want to be on as a sharp bettor, right? We're able to get a full additional out. So if he goes exactly, 16 outs, which I guess is like, 5 innings and 1 out, then we're cashing on PrizePicks and no one else is. So that seems pretty great. Being able to get this at minus 137 implied odds, or minus 119 if you include it in a 5-pick flex. So that's the second pick I have, thanks to the OddsJam Middle tool. Really like it. And then the final one we have is Donovan Smith over 270.5 player passing yards. So we kind of went through this before, but here we're getting minus 137 on the over 270.5. FanDuel has the, his player line 2 passing yards higher. DraftKings has it 5 yards higher and juiced all the way to minus 145. So being able to get this as the third entry is pretty great. So you can see right here, this is what we want. Walker over 15.5 outs, Smith over 270.5, and Flacco under 229.5 passing yards. So these are the 3 picks you want to lock in. Now in New York, where I'm currently located, you can't bet on NCAA football. It'll just tell you you can't bet on NCAA football. So if we go here, you can kind of see, I don't think it lets you bet on NCAA football at all. Yeah, it just says, what does it say? Your state does not currently support NCAA. So, okay, whatever. So I just took these 2 picks and a 2-pick entry. Walker's my favorite one, over 15.5 outs. Flacco under 229.5 passing yards, lock them in, and let's make money.